practice, is that correct? And just give me Tad's story you got.
Tad and I were the two slowest guards in the Big 8 Conference from 81 through 85. And so I say that in all seriousness, to be honest. But Tad graduated in 85 and I did too, and he didn't want to go into being a GA or coaching at that time, at that moment. So I was able to sneak in here and steal that position. So yeah, in a lot of ways I probably owe Tad a lot.
Did you watch the game last night? And
I haven't seen the game yet. I know that they were played tough. I mean, Marymount had the lead at halftime, and if I'm not mistaken, and then Colorado played really well second half. But I haven't had a chance to see the tape, that particular tape yet.
How do you feel about how your team has rebounded so far this season?
I don't think it's been awful. I don't think it's been great by any stretch. Have we been out rebounded this year? I can't remember if we have or not. If we had, maybe it's a very minor amount. But what are we, about +6 or +7? But when you really look at it, if we play small the majority of the time, that's a tiny team out there. Also, with many lineups that you wouldn't think that it would be a dominant rebounding team. You'd think it would be if you had two bigs in. So I think we've done okay, but that's certainly an area that we can always get better in, always.
Hey, Bill, on your radio show, you talked about getting teams to play inside the arc against you guys.
Yeah.
I was wondering how can you promote that with your team, or what things can you do?
Well, just to try to press out a little bit more. You know, if you play flat, which, you know, just in basketball terms, a very common mistake that defenders make is when the ball moves, they jump to the basket as opposed to jumping to the ball if they don't have it. And so that makes it a longer distance, whether it be just 1 yard or 3 to 5 feet or whatever, to close back out to when he catches it next on the perimeter. So trying to get our guys to play higher on the floor when their man doesn't have the ball. And I'm not saying total denial, I'm not saying that, but just where that forces them to catch it maybe a couple of feet out further, and then it's easier to get to them to contest. And then after they catch it, you know, make them put it down. Although we don't want to put Doak in situations to draw fouls, but I think based on what I've seen so far is if we can make teams play inside the arc and we play inside the arc, then our chances are probably pretty good, just because we got a big body and we got guys that can drive it a little bit. So I would say that would be a goal, that we can play better perimeter defense, although we have actually done much better this year than we have in years past defending the arc up until the last game against Dayton. And part of the deal is also we need to start scoring the ball more behind the arc ourselves. You know, some of the best games we played, we made. What did we make against BYU? Could be wrong, 2 or 4. And against Dayton, we made 4. You know, 2 of our best games that we played. You know, we haven't shot the ball well at all. So, you know, we need to obviously become more consistent beyond the arc. But we can't be outscored by 36 points consistently and have a chance to win.
Is this
from behind the arc.
Is this team's progress where you expected it to be at this point?
Yeah, you know, I wish we had Jalen. You know, I think Jalen would be a guy that we could certainly work in and give us some additional options. And I don't think Isaiah is himself yet. But I think he's gaining on it. But you know, if you could get, you know, Isaiah, you know, shooting the ball and us doing a better job of knowing how to get him open and you know, the staff doing more things to get him open, I think that we can become better offensively without question. But we're a long ways away from being a real good team. We're a pretty good team, but we're a long ways away from being a real good team. But based on how we played in New York, I would say we have improved a lot. Have improved a lot since then in a lot of areas.
You mentioned you need to start scoring the ball more from the 3-pointers. Where's that going to come from? Is it Isaiah and our other guys capable of providing there?
I mean, you look at our shooting statistics. Devon hadn't shot it well yet. Oach hadn't shot it well yet. You know, Marcus has made a few, but you know, he hadn't exactly been on fire. So Isaiah's been our best three-point shooter, but it's been inconsistent because when he gets looks, he makes them, but when he doesn't get look, he doesn't get them off. And so yeah, we got to do a better job with that. I think Christian is one of our best three-point shooters, and he just hadn't played much. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to make 10 a game. We may have some games we make 10, but I still think we can average, 7 threes a game. I think that's basically what we're averaging now, but we've had 2 games where we make 22 combined, and so it's a little bit misleading.
What do you think of Colorado's personnel? I think they have 2 all-league players.
Yeah, they're good. Their TAS group is obviously still undefeated, and they're ranked 20th, I think, in the AP this week. They're good. Bay is a hard matchup for because he's a perimeter player that's tall and athletic and kind of like Toppin. To be honest, I mean, there's some similarities there. He's not as tall, but he can really rebound. He rebounds the ball at 12 a game, and he scores the ball. And then McKinley Wright's one of the fastest point guards in the country. And I didn't realize this, but I think he's been on a lot of the, I don't follow it, that's why I didn't realize it, but he's been on a lot of the preseason watch list as far as one of the premier, college players in the country. And we knew he was good, but I mean, he has a chance to be one of the very best point guards in America. So that'd be a great matchup with Devon, and Swartz can score the ball. So I mean, they got good personnel, they got good players. And they really defend. I think that's what they do best is defend.
What's impressed you most about the way Doak's been playing to start this year?
Well, I would say that he's been hot and cold. I don't think that he was as impressive starting out. I thought he's a little hesitant, maybe a little rusty, maybe lacking a little bit of the same confidence he has now. Hesitant before he went to score and allowed double teams to take place and things like that. But I think against Dayton he was great. I mean, he was great against Dayton, and I also thought he was a presence in the other games, even if he didn't score the ball or get the ball a lot. But Doak, I think is going to have a great year, but our perimeter players have got to do a better job of getting him the ball. And I thought in the Dayton game was a step in the right direction. He played a lot better, but our perimeter players allowed him to look good too because they got him the ball on time, on target when he was posting. So he just needs to keep being aggressive.
How'd you guys react to winning that title out in Maui? I mean, confidence-wise, more hungrier than ever, things like that.
Yeah, I think, we know we enjoyed winning it. Don't get me wrong, but we don't make a big deal out of that. That's not something that we're going to hang our hat on or anything like that. Anytime you play, you want to win. And anytime there's a tournament, you like to take home the trophy. And I do think the way that we played in the last game, especially, should give us some confidence moving forward in many different respects. But I don't think when we play on Saturday, that tournament win is going to really be in our mind in any way, shape, or form on how it impacts us moving forward. It probably gave us a springboard to have a decent week of practice, but past Saturday, we'll only remember Saturday. We won't even remember Maui.
What was the week like? Did you give them a couple days off?
No, it gave them off Thursday for Thanksgiving when we were over there, and then we traveled. And so Thursday and Friday they got off, and we've basically been going since then. And we took the day before yesterday off. So yeah, we give them the allotted time off that we have to, but it hasn't been a rest week at all. We're trying to get better.
I also wanted to ask about, you talked a lot about the potential of this team defensively.
Mm-hmm.
What are the marks you look for in terms of, some of your all-time great defensive teams and how this team could stack up to that?
We actually show tape. A lot of it's just recognition. First of all, it's hard to be great defensively if you're not tough. And I think this team has potential to be a tough, physical, and mentally tough team. It's hard to be really good if you don't communicate, and I think we're bad communicators. So that's an area that potentially I can see us getting a lot better. I think that if you can't defend a ball screen, and not be exploited that way, I think that you're gonna have a chance to always be exposed, and we're not great at that yet, so there's room to get better. And, you know, the last thing, and I'm just talking off the top of my head, so I'm sure there's more, but the last thing is, you know, everybody's heard of help the helper. You know, if your man helps, then you have to cover for your man, you know, for the guy that goes to help. Well, if you're really good, you're kind of like, you know, help the helper's helper. I mean, you're trying. I mean, you can see things 2 or 3 passes ahead. That's one thing that I was always so impressed with good defensive teams. If one guy's beat and a guy helps, you gotta cover for his man. But when you cover for his man, that leaves your man open, and somebody's got to cover for you. And when you have confidence that you can just always have help behind you, I think that allows teams to become really good defensively as well.
Bill, can you talk about point guard? How much does Marcus help Devon do what he needs to do? And how's Devon gotten better this season, and also about him getting to the line so much?
Well, he's always going to get to the line because he is a fearless driver. I mean, he accepts contact about as well as anybody, and he's a good finisher. But I think Devon, Marcus allows and will allow more moving forward to let Devon play without the ball. You're guarding the other team's point guard, and you're bringing it up every single time, and all this stuff, and you're going to play 40 minutes a game or 38 minutes a game. That's a lot to ask, and so we need to let him not rest, but let him maybe get a shot off a catch or some things like that he's very good at that we haven't really given him the opportunity to. So I think getting the ball in Marcus's hands more, even from this point forward, I think will help Devon. I think sometimes, you know, we're just like oversaturated. I think we can go just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and we need a little bit more, versatility on different guys making plays for us. And so I do see Marcus having the ball more moving forward.
Coach, maybe a basketball one-on-one question. Could you expound on what you mean by bad communicators? What do you mean by, what's involved in communication? On-court verbally?
Yes.
Or nonverbal cues, or in practice, or what are we talking about there?
I would say on-court verbally. Now, there's some nonverbal cues, you know, you could raise your hand or call something out or whatever, but the reality of it is you have to open your mouth and you have to talk. And even when we talk in practice, and this is a problem with a lot of teams, but even when we talk in practice, we may tell somebody a screen's coming, but we're telling them too late, so we can't adjust our feet. You know, just things like that. You know, you got to let people know early and often, and everybody chirping. And, you know, Kevin Young was the best. Landon Lucas was unbelievable. And we just don't have somebody like that to really do that. And I actually think we're gaining on it, but this is not a very talkative team at all. And I do think that will hurt us to keep us from becoming really good, especially defensively, if we don't start communicating better and more often.
You mentioned Devon and McKinley, right? What do you make of that matchup?
Fast on fast. Yeah, fast on fast. I think Devon's averaging 19, McKinley's averaging 12 and a half or something like that. But no, that'll be speed on speed. That'll be fun to watch. Colorado's stats are a little misleading because you look at numbers and you think, well, we're scoring more points than them, but their opponents are scoring 54 points a game. I mean, they really hang their hat on being good on the defensive end.
Anything else here?
Food here?
Yeah, we keep asking questions.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, so you talk
As
about,
soon as it's here, it's over.
that'll cut my questions off. You talk about, you know, help us tougher. Early on, it seemed like Dayton got a few threes when Doak helped, and then you didn't rotate. So
That's a great, the way that we practiced, okay, and it's not their fault, it's my fault. But, you know, we don't practice trapping the bounce very often. So we did try to trap the bounce, I mean, you know, in a span of a 5-minute walkthrough. So we did try to trap the bounce some when Topping had the ball. Well, what they did was, which was kind of clever, because they had 4 guys around him that could always shoot. Usually when somebody traps, there's somebody that dives to the basket. Well, we covered that, but they didn't dive anybody, so they kept the court spread. So when the pass came out to the 5-man, Doak's man, the natural tendency is to go guard the open guy. But in that situation, we screwed it up like 3 times. No, we want him to be open. Don't go guard the open guy. Stay with your man and stay connected. But we got it where now, you know, Marcus would run to him, and then somebody would run to Marcus's man, and Doak's just in the middle of the lane. Who do I have? So that's just me, because we haven't practiced that enough. And so I think that created as much of the problems as anything else. Just we may have been better off just saying, unless Obi catches it on the block, don't trap him. But then we thought he could just turn and shoot over Marcus or Ojai. So that probably was my fault more than anything else.
I just know in general, like, you guys do have a good 2-point defense, so, like, asking Doak to help on some of those rim drives, you have to give up something, basically.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
some of that
yeah,
is-
yeah. Well, the best thing is guard your man.
Yeah.
You know, if you can keep your man in front of you, you don't force help near as much. But Dayton had a unique, I mean, he's a unique player in that, you know, even though he didn't score all the points, they still wanted everything to run through him, and he was an unselfish passer, and he can also shoot it and stretch it. So we probably helped them on 4 or 5 possessions by the way we guarded it, trying to. But there's also things that go into guarding it, because you got to trap, especially after Marcus has 2 fouls, because you got to help him. So if you do that, then naturally that opens up other stuff. So is it more important Marcus to be in the game, or is it more important to let him play one-on-one? Well, if you're going to let him play one-on-one, then you got to take Mark out. So that's the kind of stuff that I was talking about. But that was more on me than the guys. That wasn't their fault. That was on me.
I was just curious,
Gary, I'm sorry, the food's here.
do you remember the last game against Colorado, and what do you remember about it?
Well, is that the one where Booker made the shot? Yeah, I remember we tied it, didn't we tie it? And there was about 4 seconds left, or 3, and they had a 3/4 court, and Booker got inside half court, and we kind of backed off of him, and he threw one in. So yeah, the last time we played Colorado beat us, so that was, you know. Is there anything else you want to know about the game? I do remember that. Thanks, Gary.